goes up. The red lights will come on in a few moments' time. It is Elliot Norris and Paul Thacker on the front row of the grid, and as the lights go out, which they do now, it's a good start from Elliot Norris from the front row of the grid. It's a very good start from Brad Smith from the third row of the grid, and he may well get himself up to some like fourth position by the time they get up towards Redgate Corner. But it is going to be Elliot Norris that leads as they head in towards Redgate Corner for the first time. Who's going to squeeze through in second place? It's Paul Thacker that's there in second position as they all make their way onto the top of Hollywood and the Craner Curves for the first time. They're all certainly safely round through Redgate Corner, and yeah, business as usual, nose to tail, side by side, typical Caterham racing in the early stages of this one. Down through the Craner Curves they go, somebody running very wide and two wheels onto the grass just about gathers it up as they turn their way in towards the right-hander at the old hairpin for the first time. And as they now dive their way under Starkey's Bridge, it's as they were on the grid. Car number 11, Elliot Norris, that leads the race, the 32-year-old director from Wilby. He turns his way in towards Schwantz Curve, very much under pressure from Paul Thacker, who jinks one way and then the other. A slightly wider line in from Paul Thacker might give him the tighter line out. Who's that there in third place looking to try and carve his way up through the order? It may well possibly be, I think possibly Robert Chappell is it that sits there in third place. Difficult to tell at such distance. It looks as though it's Alex Macindoe who's there in fourth position at the moment. Out of Coppice they come. They all then fan their way out and go 1, 2, 3 and even 4 abreast as they make their way down the Dunlop Straight. They disappear out of view part of the way down the Dunlop Straight, and then they'll reappear back into our sights on the exit of the Fogarty S's, which is where we'll see the dust being raised into the air for the cement that's been put down on the circuit following the retirement of Terry Scruton's Ford Fiesta in the race prior. Here they go, down and into the braking area for what will be the Melbourne hairpin for the first time. It's Elliot Norris that leads. It's Paul Thacker that's there in second place. It's Brad Smith who is up into third position. Brad Smith, the black car with the orange rollover hoop, going very well indeed. And we're side by side for what is fourth and fifth position, which looks as though it is number 9, Jake Bradshaw, who is trying to dive round one way and then the other of Alex Macindoe in the black and Dayglow car. They feed their way out and onto the Wheatcroft Straight, and it looks as though Jake Bradshaw has made it stick. He's managed to get himself up into fourth position at the expense of Alex Macindoe, who has dropped down into fifth position on the brakes. Lots of brakes from the car that's there in second place. Paul Thacker briefly, lots of brakes turning in towards Redgate Corner. That just dropped him probably a shade more away from the tail of Brad Smith. And the front three is right away. Actually, there's somebody who's going superbly well is Jake Bradshaw, and he's now trying to hoist himself up onto the coattails of number 8, that black and orange car in the hands of Brad Smith that sits there in third place still at the moment. Train of Caterhams make their way out of the Melbourne hairpin up towards the braking area for Goddard's for the first time. It's still Elliot Norris that leads the race. Paul Thacker closing in, however, as they head onto the brakes and round through Goddard's this time through. It looks as though Paul Thacker has got himself in the slipstream now as they head onto the Wheatcroft Straight. Elliot Norris this time is going to have to go defensive on the run up towards Redgate Corner. He hooks the right-hand side of the circuit. That's the inside line for Redgate Corner. Paul Thacker jumps to the left-hand side of the circuit. He's not going to try around the outside. He's going to try and cut back and hang on to the coattails of Elliot Thacker as they head onto the top of Hollywood this time through. Elliot Thacker still leading the race. Elliot Norris still leading the race. Paul Thacker still sitting there in second position. So down to the straight curve. On hairpin that time through. Here they go. Paul Thacker there in second place. Then it's Brad Smith ahead of Jake Bradshaw. That's the top 4. And now it looks as though Paul Thacker is trying round the inside of one curve, that was the outside of McLean's corner. That's a different move, one we've not seen so far over the course of this weekend. But the trio, or quartet actually, for the lead of the race, now really shuffling the order, because it looks as though Jake Bradshaw is trying to thrust his way up the inside of Brad Smith and steal what will be third place away. Has he made it stick, Jake Bradshaw? It doesn't look as though he probably has, actually, because it still looks as though Brad Smith at the wheel of that black and orange number 8 at Caterham Roadsport is still sticking his elbows out and hanging on to the position at the moment. Over the start-finish line, they will come in a few minutes. They've got the Melbourne Loop that they're about to head on to now, and it's still Elliot Norris that hangs on to the lead of the race, despite the very close attention of car number 66, Paul Thacker, who's closing in the slipstream jinx out on the right-hand side, dives on the inside as they head in towards the Melbourne hairpin this time through. So it looks as though the change of lead has occurred. Paul Thacker is through into the lead of the race at the Melbourne hairpin. Elliot Norris is down into second position. He'll try and fight back, however, and in fact Elliot Norris, I think, might have missed a gear there, because he was in second. He's going to be possibly in fourth by the time they get to Goddard's corner. Round through Goddard's they come. It's going to be Paul Thacker that leads the race. Who's going to come through in second place? It looks as though it's Jake Bradshaw who's there in second place. Then it's Elliot Norris fighting back in third place as he runs wheel to wheel with Brad Smith over the start-finish line. So Elliot Norris has managed to hoist himself back up into third position. He now tries to retake second place as he dives at the inside of Jake Bradshaw on the run in towards Redgate corner. A tighter line in means that he just runs wide a little bit on the way out, and therefore they're almost going to be side by side onto the top of Craner curves. The smoke is coming from the tail end of one of those cars. It's just a little bit of bodywork that's now rubbing on a tyre, because they have got very close to each other, and I think Elliot Norris just about managed to retake second position once more. Around they go through the old hairpin. Elliot Norris is indeed back up into second place. Now got what, 6 cars for the lead of the race. Yesterday. He's back to the race, and so far went on the lap prior to the race. Jake Bradshaw, 1:52.653. So Jake Bradshaw with the fastest lap of the race so far.
What is that stuff? Like it's
somebody running wide on the exit of Coppice Corner. I think with Brad Smith just missed the apex heading round through Coppice Corner. That's forcing wide on the exit, all over the curb, nearly onto the grass. That's going to drop him down through the order by possibly another place or two. He's now really put himself under pressure as they come down the Dunlop Straight this time. They'll head into the fog of the Esses, still with our new race leader Paul Thacker, continuing to hang on to the lead of the race. The 43-year-old director from Wolseley Bridge, all of that motorcycling experience, meaning that he's used to going wheel to wheel, but not with a wheel in each corner. Everybody wants to be third at the moment as they head onto the race and make their way round through the Melbourne hairpin. Jennifer Grace is fighting on her fence, so saying it is so we might on at the Melbourne hairpin that's come up on the left-hand side of the circuit on the exit of the corner. Can't quite see who will be able to stick out exactly who it is, so it's certainly inside the top 6 and will tumble down through the order. So Paul Thacker leads, Elliot Norris is there in second place. It looks as though it was possibly Jake Bradshaw that has got to green from Melbourne hairpin. That being car number 9, because he has not come through this time through. So Jake Bradshaw, I think, is why we're seeing the yellow flags waved on the outside of the Melbourne hairpin. However, Paul Thacker still in the lead of the race. Elliot Norris there in second position, the 32-year-old. In third place now is where we see Brad Smith.
Oh no! It's Alex's car. Something's waving on the right-hand front right.
Making their way under, starting breathing out up towards the one field once more. We've got Kiki Corbelletti sitting there in fifth position, car number 27. Corbelletti, we have seen on the podium so far twice this year. Kiki Corbelletti having another good run here with the truck who is sitting there in fifth position. We're side by side once more. For second and third place, Paul Thacker has lost the lead of the race, who has already dropped down into third place. It's Elliot Norris that has retaken the lead of the race. It looks as though Brad Smith is now up into second place, and erstwhile race leader Paul Thacker already down into third place by the time they exit Coppice this time through. We've got 9 minutes of the race still to go, and it is Elliot Norris that hit the front again once more out of the Esses. He goes and brings his way onto the Melbourne Loop. It is Elliot Norris at lead. Brad Smith is there in second place. Then up to third place now is Alex Macindoe. All of that at the expense of Paul Thacker, who was leading last time they came over the start finish line. So Paul Thacker now down into fourth place. And I think there's problems there, isn't there? Because slowing comes Brad Smith. Another possibly missed gear coming out of Melbourne hairpin there. So Brad Smith, who has carved his way up through the order, missed the gear. He's dropped back down into fourth place once more. That's the black car with the orange stripe down the front of it. So over the start finish line they go. It looks as though Paul Thacker is not content with sitting there in third place. He's closing up onto the tail end of Alex Macindoe ahead. And as the two of those head up towards Redgate Corner and onto the top of Hollywood this time, Paul Thacker will be very keen indeed to try and get himself through and ahead of Alex Macindoe, because he can see.
Oh my God, come on!
The lead of the race is continually pulling away again once more.
9 minutes!
Still remaining in the race.
Keep it, keep it, keep it.
They make their way up the start of the grid. Paul Thacker looking to try and hoist himself back into second place. Alex Macindoe in that Macindoe car falls back onto the curb as they head round through Swan's Curve up towards McLean's Corner. Once more they go next to the tail, they'll head out of McLean's Corner. So they start to squabble. It might allow Alex Norris to pull away a little bit. He's also got in fourth place.
Take it. He can catch Ella.
With the orange flashes to it. That's Brad Smith. He'll be looking to try and make up then. As a result of that missed gear coming out of the Melbourne hairpin on the lap prior. Brad Smith, who claimed the victory in round 2 of the championship on Silverstone on the Grand Prix circuit. Very keen indeed if he can to try and get himself back up onto the podium places once more. He's got 7 minutes in which to do so as they head once more back into sight on the exit of the Fogarty S's. And well, yep, they're all bunching up again once more, because Elliot Norris is now coming under pressure from Alex Macindoe, who starts to close up onto the tail end of the race leader. We've also got, trying to dive up the inside, Paul Thacker is still second place away from Alex Macindoe. They're just going past the yellow flags. That's the point at which Jake Bradshaw's car came to rest a few laps ago in the race. And I think there's problems there. Elliot Norris pulls the car over to the left-hand side of the circuit, and surely he's going to head into towards retirement. Once the car picks up into life again once more. So not quite sure what the problem was, but the car all of a sudden seemed to stop, and all of a sudden it seemed to spring back into life once more. Over the start-finish line they'll go. No detail to the lead of the race. Paul Thacker moves one way, then moves back the other, carves his way around the outside of Alex Macindoe. They're going to be side by side as they head in towards Redgate Corner. They're still side by side on the way out. It's Paul Thacker that now leads the race. The black and Dayglow car in the hands of Alex Macindoe sitting there in second position. Then it's Brad Smith who sits there in third place between this front three at the moment. Fourth place is car number 4, which is John White. Now White made his way up through the order. John White.
Oh my God.
One driver. Let me see. The top 10 a couple of times so far this year. 10th or 11th position, so 4th place for him. He'll be highly delighted with at the moment.
He's got about 4 minutes to pull it out the bag.
Trio makes his way up towards McLean's Corner this time through Paul Thacker, hanging on to the lead of the race. Alex Macindoe trying to come back in. Brad Smith trying to get in on the act as well. Brad Smith trying around the outside on the approaching towards Coppice. So hopefully he might get a slightly better line out, and he'll come back on the exits and maybe run side by side down the Dunlop straight this time. It looks as though Alex Macindoe is potentially going to be in third place by the time they reappear back in view at the Fogarty S's. Paul Thacker is still there just about with his nose in front. Alex Macindoe is there in second place. Brad Smith is there in third place as they head in towards the braking area for the Fogarty S's. When they reappear on the way out, that still remains the order, with Alex Macindoe now looking to try and take the lead of the race. We're going to be 3 wide, I think, by the time we get up to the Melbourne hairpin. Yes, we are. Brad Smith trying up the inside of Paul Thacker. Alex Macindoe on the outside line on the way in. The yellow flags are there as well, so they've got to be careful what they do down there. Let's hope that nobody managed to overtake anybody else, and therefore they should all come out in exactly the same order. I think they were that busy racing, they forgot the yellow flags will be out at that point of the circuit. They sorted themselves out, good driving. And now as they head up into the braking area for Goddard, they're about to complete their 7th lap of the race this time through, with just over 4.5 minutes still remaining. It's 3 for the lead of the race. It's the white car of Paul Thacker that leads, the black and Dayglow car of Alex Macindoe there in second place, and the black and orange car of Brad Smith that sits there in third place. Macindoe trying up the inside, and Paul Thacker on the run up towards Redgate Corner. He's just about squeezed his way through, takes the lead of the race once more. Alex Macindoe through and into the lead of the race. Paul Thacker there in second place. He's now having to both attack and defend at the same time, because he's got Brad Smith trying to squeeze his way through. We're still side by side right the way down through the train of curves, and it looks like Paul Thacker is quite safe in the field at the moment. Still hangs on to second place. Onto the race, win their way round through the old hairpin.
Right, I'm running over.
That black Dayglow car that leads, then the white car of Paul Thacker, who's there in second place. Brad Smith is still there in third place. He's also got the fastest lap of the race. Let's not forget. That was the lap 8. Brad Smith. It's Macindoe there in second place. It is Brad Smith who completes the top three at the moment. Up to fourth place, starting on the inside, comes John Whitehouse ahead of Achilles Gormaletti. And therefore I think that may well be a change more than once more. No, not sticks his elbows out, and therefore I think Elliot Norris now back up into fourth place. Great driving that from the driver who's won 3 races so far this season. Elliot Norris, a 32-year-old from Wilby, and let's hope that he can manage to start to close in on these front three, because they're holding each other up, and Paul Thacker runs wide on the exit of the old hairpin. That means that once more it's Alex Macindoe that's back up into the lead of the race. Now we've got Brad Smith up into second place. We've got 2 minutes still to go, so they'll squeeze this lap out and one more. They're on their penultimate lap therefore at the moment, so 3 for the lead of the race, then it's 4 thereafter, fighting for what is 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th place. And if anything, Elliot Norris, who's now got himself up into 4th place, is starting to pull away. And if these front 3 hold each other up, you still, for my money, I wouldn't rule out Elliot Norris still at this stage of the race, because he makes his way round through Coppice Corner with the front 3 still squabbling and holding each other up. Here they come down the Dunlop Straight for the penultimate time. It is Alex Macindoe, car number 18 in the MLE Pyrotechnics entered machine, that still continues to lead the race. Paul Thacker is back up into second place once more. Third place is Brad Smith, and here comes Elliot Norris now. Great speed, great momentum carried out of the Fogarty S's, and Elliot Norris all of a sudden is now back up into third place again once more. He's closing on the coattails of Paul Thacker ahead. They all turn their way round through the Melbourne hairpin, where the yellow flags have now come in, by the way, and therefore they can overtake at that point of the circuit. And now Elliot Norris is trying to attack Paul Thacker for second position. I will get his name right by the end of this. He tries to dive up the inside. Elliot Norris, can he squeeze his way through? The answer to that is no, he can't. He's now got to attack and defend at the same time. He wants to attack Paul Thacker. He's got to defend from Brad Smith behind him. As that ball goes out, Alex Macindoe leads. It is Paul Thacker who is there in second place, with Elliot Norris trying to drive his way up the inside. Elliot Norris goes through into second place at Redgate Corner, up the inside of Paul Thacker. So Elliot Norris, what a fight back this has been. He is now up into second place. He's got his sights firmly set on Alex Macindoe as the two of those dive their way down through the Craner curve, as they then make their way into the braking area for the old hairpin. It'll be interesting to find out from Elliot Norris exactly what the problem was as he came out of the Melbourne hairpin a few laps ago, because the car died and eventually spluttered its way back into life, and now he's really had to fight hard to get himself back up onto the coattails of the race leader. Alex Macindoe is the lead. It is Elliot Norris who's there in second place, then it's Paul Thacker from Brad Smith for third and fourth position. Look at the battle that's going on for fifth and sixth as well, which looks as though it's John Whitehouse who's still fighting away with Achilles Gormaletti for the final place inside the top six. And in fact, those 4 at the tail end are looking to try and, or 2 at the tail end are looking to try and make it 6 for the lead of the race. As for the final time they exit Coppice Corner, who's going to be leading? Looks like it's Alex Macindoe that's leading. It now looks as though it is Elliot Norris who's still there in second place, but he's got Paul Thacker to his left-hand side as they come down the Dunlop Straight. We'll catch them as they reappear back into view onto the Melbourne Loop for the final time. It is side by side for the lead of the race. Elliot Norris had a good look at trying to squeeze his way through and ahead of Alex Macindoe. I think there's a little bit of contact there as well, because Macindoe's lost some bodywork. Elliot Norris is continuing. Brad Smith now up into second place, onto the brakes, getting towards Melbourne hairpin for the final time. They will all make their way, and it looks as though Alex Macindoe has probably just about done enough here as he then makes his way out of the Melbourne hairpin, up towards the braking area for Goddard's for the final time. Elliot Norris is there in second place, but everybody wants to be second at the moment. Paul Thacker breaks as late as he possibly can, tries to hoist himself up the inside, and as they reappear back into view, as they have a sort out, yes they have, it looks as though it is going to be Elliot Norris